Hello, hello.
Hello, Lisa and Lisa.
Yeah, I still have 14 people already in the audience. Welcome, everyone.
Right. It's going to be a party. I love it.
Yeah.
You guys having a great new year so far? Not really new anymore. January's almost over.
It is. All of January is kind of getting ready for the rest of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And every year I say, I'm not going to start January still thinking about the year. I'm going to do that in December so that when January rolls around, I'm already ready.
You're ready, loaded to go.
It sort of happened and it sort of didn't. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it's always aspirational to be like, let's use December to reflect on the year that's gone past and plan for the year ahead. And then come December, I'm usually just completely passed out on the couch because I'm trying to catch up on sleep. So, yeah.
Yes. Oh, we got a lot of people joining here.
It's funny. We just wrapped up the live product VP Challenge New Year's edition, and it was all about planning your next 3 to 5 years and then planning your milestone and goal for 2022. And it's amazing that people are, it's kind of like, it was very interesting to see that like still January is very much about planning, and then the rest of the year is about execution. I know I always try to bring it up back to December, but still I think January has this energy of like new beginnings and possibility. And I think people are wired to think about it that way. And so always go, with what people already know. So they're planning and thinking about new beginnings in January. Let's help them. Yeah.
Go with that.
That's the idea.
I like it. We got a lot of people signing on here. As you're signing on, make sure of a couple of things. So make sure that you do have a completed profile in Hopin. I'm positive that most of you that are joining today have already been in Hopin. Your profile's nice. You got a great picture in there, but be sure to put your information in there because as you are connecting with people in the blenders, your information will be shared that way. But also as you're jumping on, just tell us where you are watching us from today. I'm always excited to hear. And we will kick it off in just half a minute.
Reminds me of old school radio when you call in and they're like, so where are you calling from?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I can say I'm calling from the side of Denali. Yeah. Although, I love Alaska. I wish I was there right now, but maybe when the days get a little bit longer, that's when I get back. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Wait for their summer solstice. Oh, wow. It's a very international audience.
I know.
Actually, Portland, Oregon. Yay. I'm in Portland too. Fantastic.
Nice.
Cambridge.
Texas, New York, Canada.
The UK. I love it.
Oh. My gosh, what time is it in the UK now? It's probably like 10 o'clock, something around
It's 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Okay. So not bad. Yeah.
Have your dinner and come to a women product session.
Yeah. Kathy's watching with a glass of wine, so we're all jealous.
Nice.
It'll make it more exciting, Kathy, for sure. All right. It is the top of the hour, so I think we'll go ahead and kick it off. I'm Cyronne Counts. I am the Director of Programs for Women in Product. And as always, it is my pleasure to join this session today. Not only are we kicking off our conference planning season, but we're kicking off the call for proposals, which I wasn't part of Women in Product last year when all of this happened. So I'm just super excited to be on the other side of the process this year. A little background, when I started with Women in Product, my first interaction with the organization was submitting to be a speaker for the conference. And this is even before I started, going through the process of interviewing for my current position. So having said that, that should encourage everyone out there that no matter how long you've been part of Women in Product, if you just found us yesterday, but you have something good to say, we want to hear from you. So I'm super excited to have so many people here that are joining today. I'm even more excited to have Lisa and Lisa with me today, because they are both, I'm going to go ahead and call them expert speakers for Women in Product conferences, because I think they are, right? I think once you go through the process of not only submitting a proposal, but thinking through how your thoughts and how your knowledge translates into the message that we're sending with our conference theme, I think that you can call yourself an expert, right? So I'm going to just kick off the discussion today with making sure that we all understand the purpose of why we're here. We're here to talk about how to put together the best proposal to be a speaker for the conference, right? We want to make sure you understand a little bit about the conference theme, and then what the committee is going to be looking for as the proposals are reviewed and considered for speakers for the conference. So we will not be talking a whole lot about dates or how you do your application or anything like that, because what we do have in addition to this session is a website that's been created that talks about everything related to submitting your proposal. So there's an amazing speaker submission guide that gives you all of those details. It walks you through everything, but your fail-safe is always that you can contact someone at Women in Product and we will make sure that you get your answer, okay? All right, so with that, our theme for the 2022 conference is Restore and Rediscover. I don't know if any of you have already, seen that out there or have heard about it, but let me tell you what, that is a perfect theme for 2022, right? Who doesn't need to restore and rediscover in 2022? I'd like to meet you if you don't need to restore and rediscover. And I was telling the ladies before we joined the session that when I heard that theme, it made me think back to this old movie that I love, not really old, but probably older than most of you on the line, Brown Sugar, right? And in the movie Brown Sugar, one of the things, it was a very music-oriented movie. So one of the things that connected the two main characters was their love for hip-hop music, right? And one of the things they kept saying to each other was, when did you fall in love with hip-hop? And when I heard Restore and Rediscover, I thought about, God, well, when did I fall in love with product management? Or when did I fall in love with anything that I have a passion and a purpose for? And I think that from time to time in life, you have to rediscover what brought you to something that you love. Because, we're human, we get tired, we get frustrated sometimes and stressed out. But I think if you look back to what your old inspiration was, that can be your new inspiration, right? And I think that is what Restore and Rediscover is all about. It's about reconnecting with those things that you have a passion for, reconnecting with the things that bring you your purpose in life. And, hopefully there's something within product management that still stirs that up in you. But Restore and Rediscover is all about that, thinking about where you are in life and what do you need to do to restore yourself and rediscover what it is that really makes you passionate. Okay, so with that, I am going to begin to talk a little bit with Lisa and Lisa. I will let you, do your own introductions. But both of these ladies have spoken at a conference. They've gone through the process that you either have already started or will start very soon, and can answer any questions that you have about how to craft a great proposal and really give you a good idea of what we're looking for, right? So I will go ahead and start with Lisa Kostova, and I will bring it to you just to introduce yourself and share.
I love it. Thank you so much, Cyronne. And what you just said is so powerful. I want you to drop in the chat when is the time? When was the time you fell in love with product? When did you know you wanted to be in product? Just think back to that memory or the experience you had. For me, it was when I was in investment management. This was before I went back to business school. And I was actually doing diligence on investors who are investing in companies, startup companies that were making products. And I just remember thinking like, oh my God, that is what I want to do. I want to actually be hands-on making product. And that's what made me fall in love with the with the space and with creating products that are used by real people in the real world, making an impact. I really remember where I was when I had that realization. I was sitting on my desk in front of the computer. If you remember old school computers, for those of you who are in college in the 2000s, or kind of having computers, those were like with a solid back. And I just remember checking out a company I was really fascinated by that was in the portfolio. And I remember thinking, I want to work for them. I don't want to be sitting here crunching numbers. So when was that moment for you? If you drop it in the chat, that is very important to identify. Anyway, I'm Lisa Kostova. I'm the founder of Career Climb. We are a community of women who are ascending in our careers. You can check us out on Product VP Challenge. We are having a replay this coming weekend. But the reason I'm so passionate about women in product and by what the team is creating here and the opportunity they give all of us to share ideas, to share our work, is because speaking on the Women in Product stage has a huge impact. Has a huge impact on both yourself. It's a transformational journey that will build confidence and that will show you how much you really know and how much you've learned. And it is also a great place to have an impact and change the lives of people and really have that fulfillment that you've made something, you've given somebody something that has made a difference. So that is what I'm here to share with you. And I love what everybody in the team here is doing to create that possibility for all of you. And congratulations, by the way, for being in the room, because the people, you know how many people want to be a speaker, want to say, I want to speak on the stage, but 99% of them never make that decision to apply because the fear of public speaking is so huge. Back to you, Cyronne, or to Lisa H, maybe.
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, I'll turn it over to Lisa H and allow you to introduce yourself, and then I have a couple questions I'll ask you guys just to kind of get everything moving.
For sure. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa, and it's great that we have two Lisas here on stage today. So you hear us bouncing back and forth a bit or answering the question for the other person. And I'm currently a PM at Microsoft, where ultimately we're protecting our customers and users from cybersecurity. So I have recently done a not career change, but industry change. I was previously in aerospace, working on satellite imagery, and now I'm on identity and security. So yeah, I first discovered women in product back in 2019, where like many of you, right, just kind of fumbled my way into tech and fumbled my way into product management. And I was looking for a community of people where I can connect with and learn the trade. And as I saw some of you mention, you Googled product management. I pretty much did the same, where I was changing careers, getting to tech. And after speaking with friends who already work in tech, a lot of them kept telling me, you should look into product management. A lot of what you're doing seems to be product management, but I've never heard that term before. So that was 2019. And then fast forward to the next year, I had the chance to moderate 2 of the sessions during the 20 conference. And last year, I finally brought up my courage to apply as a speaker and was selected to be a speaker for one of the 20-minute type solo sessions. And yeah, I'm excited to be back this year to help answer any questions or demystify the CFP process, as I hope we'll get into today.
That's a great word, demystify, because we definitely want to make sure we do that today. So one of the things that I know we look for in proposals, or 3 of the things that we look for in proposals. One is that it's original content, okay? You know, we all love to hear Michelle Obama and Oprah Winfrey speak, but we don't want to necessarily hear their speech come through you. So original content, actionable, right? So think about how you want attendees to feel after they've heard your talk, right? What do you want them to walk away with? What are going to be your talking points? What are going to be your takeaways, right? So something that's actionable. And finally, something that's very relatable, right? Can you find yourself in other PMs in the what you want to present, right? How are attendees going to relate to what you had to say to them? So original, actionable, relatable. Those are the top three things. I like to throw in there something that's inspiring, right? Think about the feeling that you want people to have when they're done talking to you, right? Do you want them to walk away with their head held high, with a feeling like they can go and just conquer the world? Probably yes. So you can say something to them there that will allow them to walk away with that feeling. So with that, I'll go to Lisa Kostova first. As you were thinking about, your proposal for years past that you have spoken at conferences. Last year, you and I did the panel together. You moderated, and I was on the panel, and that was super fun. How do you think about the theme in relation to those 3 or 4 things I just mentioned, original, actionable, relatable, and inspiring? How do you go through what you want to say in relation to the theme and ensure that you hit all of those points for your proposal?
Love it. Great question, Cyronne. So when I first thought about speaking in women in product, I really tried to think of it as a present I was giving to the audience. So how many of you, if you want to drop in the chat, how many of you really know someone, or you yourself are someone who is a really good gift giver? Really good gift giver, thoughtful, gives that somebody is gonna enjoy. If you're like me, you go through the year spotting opportunities for amazing gifts for birthdays or Christmas or the holidays, and you buy them in advance because it just gives you that satisfaction of like, oh, I just spotted this book that I know, or this card that is going to be perfect for my partner's birthday, right? You buy it in like April and the birthday is in October. So I want you to think of your speaker submission like you're going to give a gift. You're going to give a gift to the audience. And part of that involves understanding who your audience is. So my first step in answering Cyronne's question is I went and took a look at the demographics of who was attending Women in Product. And guess what? Women in Product have an amazing speaker submission guide. They tell you who's in the audience. They tell you how many women are in there and what their relevant relative levels of seniority are. Next step is in constructing the perfect gift for that audience. Next step is to understand what do they care about, what it is that they want, what it is that they're interested in. When you're a good gift giver, you don't give gifts that you enjoy. How many of you have known someone who just gives what they would like? It has like no clue whether, if you're really into tea, you give someone like amazing selection of pour tea and they're like really caffeine intolerant. But you're so proud because your love for tea is just the best thing, that and it falls flat. So that's what will happen to your speaker submission if you don't connect with what Cyronne was talking about, with the theme, with like what is in it for them. Know your audience and understand your audience. You're part of your audience if you are talking from your own experience. So definitely look for the things that light you up, the things that you want to figure out, the things that were stumping you way back when. And then go and do additional research. Go and talk to women that are part of that audience or demographic, your friends, your colleagues, and really understand what it is that they're struggling with. What is keeping them up at night? What would they like to figure out how to do or overcome? And so really connecting with the theme of, recovery and rediscovery. It's like there's so much juicy material here that you can go and explore and really find out what people are struggling with. What are they desiring? Are they struggling with burnout? What are what are the things that is going on in their mind, because you need, before you provide a solution, just like a good product manager, and I've led product teams of many startups, including as a VP of product. The important thing I always look for in the product person is, can you really get into the head and the heart of your customer and really think, like, feel what it feels like to be in their shoes, going through their life and experiencing whatever they're experiencing? Because your talk is not going to be about like a major thing that wins the Nobel Prize. I mean, I hope that some of us do win the Nobel Prize at one point, but it's likely not going to be a revolutionary invention or discovery that rocks the whole world. It's likely going to be a perspective or an insight that you've yourself had that is valuable to somebody else who hasn't had that perspective or insight yet, because it hasn't unlocked a challenge or something they're struggling with. So you're looking for that perfect gift, for that nugget, and doesn't have to be expensive, doesn't have to be big, but just has to be something that your audience will know and appreciate. So when you talk about that gift in your submission, I don't want you to describe it like, what are you going to teach? A lot of people make the mistake of leading with the how, or like, I am going to show you, like in our case, in our coaching programs, for example, I'm going to show you why it's important and how to like form a habit and how to spend 5 minutes every morning planning your day. How many of you would be interested in having yet more one thing added to your day? Like zero, right? But if I tell you what it's going to do for your career and your promotions and your progression in the workplace, now you're interested. Now you're paying attention. So don't forget that the people who are reviewing your submissions are representative of the audience. If you tell them you're going to be going through something that they are not understanding why you're going to be going through it, because you've connected the dots in your head, they're not going to be interested. So in your title of the submission and your description, you have to have a way about talking about the benefits. What are they going to find out? What are they going to overcome? What is that gift that you're going to give them? Don't talk about how you're going to get them there or what is the content of what you're going to have to be speaking about, but talk about the destination, the end, not the how. And finally, hook them. There has to be a little bit of an air of mystery. For those of you who know like a little bit about like marketing, maybe you've done some product marketing, email marketing, for example, the subject line is the most important thing, because that gets you to open the email. That gets the person to open the email, which then gets them to possibly click on something that you're emailing them about, right? So the job of your title of the submission is to get the audience or the representatives of the audience that are reviewing it to actually go in and take a look, to be hooked, to come in here and take a look. I'll give you an example. So my first talk at the Women in Product Conference was the 5 keys to progressing beyond the senior PM. And that was the result of the research I did, the result that so many of the women who were at the conference were at the senior PM level, and through my own experience. So I didn't tell them, hey, I'm going to talk to you about, internal customers. I'm going to talk to you about saying no. I'm going to talk to you about getting a mentor. No, I just said, like, I'm going to give you the keys to progress beyond senior PM. One of my coaching clients, who was part of our Career Climb community, she had her speaker submission accepted last year. And her topic was overcoming a no, the 5 steps to escalate effectively. Ooh, how many of you would like to hear that and find out like how do you get pushed past stakeholders saying no and blocking you and that frustration? Now she's going to come and show you how she's done it. And the result for you is now you're still in the game. Now you're not getting shut down. Your proposals, your ideas are getting accepted, are getting visibility. So to summarize, give a gift that the audience would appreciate, not necessarily something that you want to talk about, but what they want to hear. Talk about the what, not the how you're going to get them there, and hook them. Give them an air of mystery and promise a result or a breakthrough or transformation for them. So back to you, Cyronne.
Yeah, that was gold. I mean, we really could end right there, but we aren't because I still want to talk to Lisa Huang-North. So, Lisa, one of the things that we know that the committee looks for, the selection committee, is very tangible takeaways, frameworks, case studies, very specific examples related to the theme and related to the topic of your talk. Last year, you did a talk on culture, creating, measuring, and sustaining teams that thrive, right? So right there, that was something that probably hooked anyone in, right? Because, hey, who doesn't want to create and measure sustaining teams that thrive? But talk to us a little bit about how you use that topic and really provided tangible takeaways, things that were very actionable for the attendees to walk away with.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for queuing that up. Yeah, I think with everything Lisa has said, right, going back to product management, as we all know, in our day job, it starts with the customer. Who are our customers? What pain points do they have? What other jobs to be done? And how can we address that? And one of the huge value, which I think everyone who is here today have probably experienced, in my opinion, is a Women in Product Facebook group, right? We have a lot of active members who are on there. If you look at it, there's new posts every day where folks are asking questions and helping each other, providing feedback and sharing how they would combat some of the questions that's being brought up. For example, I literally have the group open right now, and I see that just looking through the first 5 posts in new activity, there's discussions around salary benchmarking, transparency. There's one around career development. Someone else brought up a question around Jira tickets and how to best manage cross-functional communication, right? Especially in managing that input or getting into product backlog on request from other teams. And another one would be around figuring out content that their users are interested. This is just in the first 5 posts. I just opened the Facebook group and that's what I've seen, right? So I really do think that everyone who has been here or have known Women in Product for a while, chances are you've participated in the community in some way, and you are yourself representative of a member of Women in Product. The kind of questions you have, the challenges you're facing, the recent big thorny problem you had to solve because there was a huge escalation in your team. All of those are comparable experiences. So I think that's the first one, which is understand your audience and understand their pain and be specific about the user persona you're solving for, right? So I think in Lisa's example earlier around escalations, that's something which probably PMs at all level can relate to. Progressing your career beyond senior PM, well, that's very specific. It's ideally for someone who is above senior PM level or aspiring to it, maybe doing early research. In my case, the topic was around developing teams and measuring team success. So that's targeted at people manager, right? If you're an IC, individual contributor, chances are you may not be leading a team yet, and that talk might not be as relevant to you. But you're able to look at a talk's title as well as the description and understand, where do I map it? Is it relevant? Or do I go for another talk that's happening at the same time slot? And I would say the same thing goes in mind when you're submitting the proposal, which is acknowledging that there's going to be talk proposals for all different audiences, even within the Women in Product cohort, right? And understanding where you map there and what's most relevant based on your experience. I love what someone said earlier. I think it was Cyronne who said we're all expert speakers in our own way because we all have unique lived experiences that we are an expert in. I started my intro saying I pivoted from aerospace industry recently to identity and security. That might be something that's unique to me and maybe a handful of other people, right? So even though I might not be an expert in finance because I don't have a lot of experience in that, I would be able to feel comfortable speaking to specifically how someone who came from aerospace into identity security fares. And I think that is true for everyone here to really think about what is your unique career journey that brought you to where you are today and what you should have confidence speaking to because you are in that limited set of people who have that lived experience. So I think that's one element of thinking around crafting your proposal, combining who is my target audience, who am I trying to speak to, and what is my unique experience that's going to bring in a perspective on this problem that's perhaps topical to something you have seen within the broader women in product community.
More gold from the other Lisa. Thank you very much. So we're going to go into a quick Q&A session, and then we'll move directly into our blender session. So for the attendees, you definitely want to stick around for the blenders. Okay, that is when you will have the opportunity to connect one-on-one with another person that you can share your thoughts and your ideas with. You can kind of bounce them off of each other. Here's what I've been thinking about a talk. It's a great time to have somebody else sort of evaluate, what you might have been thinking in your head. Even if you don't have anything, even if you just want to listen to the other person, it might jog some ideas for you. So stick around for the blenders. Before we go into our questions, you can either put a question in the Q&A chat portion, or you can just raise your hand and hit share audio and video, and we'll pull you up on stage if you have a specific question you'd like to ask. Before we go into that, I'm going to go back to Lisa and see if you have any parting words to share with our potential speakers. And Lisa Kostova.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Cyronne. And honestly, this is my invitation for you to get on camera. It doesn't really matter if you are wearing makeup or if you're in your PJs. This is a great opportunity because practice is what makes not perfect, but makes better. I'm of the opinion that, we actually are our community that is getting coached to career climb, we call ourselves the Perfectionist Anonymous. So I really want you to snap out of any perfectionist holdbacks that may be holding you from going for it, asking a question, creating a speaker submission, and just keep going, keep creating speaker submissions. If your talk is not accepted this year, go create a few more and try again, next year, try again at another stage. You will get there. It's just a matter of you not giving up. So this is an invitation to you to not give up. And I'll summarize the principles I gave you earlier. And think of your talk, think of your submission or your idea as a gift for the audience. You want them to enjoy the gift and to be a gift that they want, not necessarily what you think you feel like giving or what you would enjoy. Talk about the result and the outcome and the benefits, not about what you're going to teach them to get them to that benefit. Super, super important. Air of mystery, have a hook, or in the movie circles, it's known as a log line. So if you go on Google and try to look up log lines for movies, they tell you a little bit about the plot, but they leave the ending mysterious so that you obviously go and watch the movie. And I want you to think about the title. The title of your talk needs to be very clear. Who is it for? And what is the benefit that you're promising? So those two components, however you construct your title, should be present in that title. And then go and really A/B test or user test your titles. All the ideas you have for your titles. Go on the Facebook group in Women in Product. Go, ask your colleagues or friends, hey, which one do you like best? Make a poll in Facebook and have them vote on which one they would go to over something else that's happening at the same time. And finally, I want to invite you to come and join us for a replay of the Product VP Challenge that we just did with a bunch of really amazing mid-career women in tech. We're having a binge watching party this coming weekend with some special guests and really, really cool planning opportunity for you to just rock out your career goals in 2022. And you can sign up for the free replay at productvpchallenge.com. I'll drop it in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. And Lisa?
Yeah.
Any parting words?
I was typing things as well. Yeah, I would say we've already spoken in great details around obviously targeting your audience, crafting the talk. Lisa Kostova shared that great insights around having that eye-catching subject line or eye-catching title for your talk. I think another piece which some folks were discussing in the chat is really be mindful that this is a virtual environment, right? So as we all know, having attended conferences sometime in the last 3 years or 2.5 years virtually, is that when you're going to back-to-back talks, similar to if you're in a Zoom meeting for the whole day, right? Your attention span is going to be limited and you're going to be exhausted. In fact, you'll probably have a lot of fatigue and you're not able to concentrate and stay focused. In addition to that, if you are international, which I know we have a few in the audience today, language might be an issue, right? Where the pace you're speaking, the speed you're speaking may also affect how someone is able to absorb that material. And I think these are just some elements to consider as you're crafting your proposal as well, because there's a note section in your submission where you should be able to note how are you crafting this proposal that will be suitable for a virtual type setting. So I think that's one element which, if you do call that out, that could help your proposal to stand out, right? The fact that you are not only targeting a specific persona, not only having a catchy title, and not only thinking about the key takeaways that will be actionable and inspiring and relatable for your audience, but you're also mindful of the reality that this is a virtual conference. So yeah, I think that's something to definitely call out. And once you get past the proposal stage, incorporate into your actual talk itself.
Great advice, great advice. Okay, so we will go into our Q&A session, and I will just throw this out there because I see quite a few questions that are around session format, things of that nature. And I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. On the website where we have the call for submissions page, there is an amazing document that is the speaker submission guide that answers all the questions about session format. Just very quickly, there's 3 session formats: presentation, fireside chat, and workshop. And I believe Rachel put in the chat, the workshop format is new for this year, and it will be a live session format, right? Whereas the others are pre-recorded. So it almost is a little strange because you'll be watching yourself in your own session, and you'll have the opportunity to interact with the attendees via chat while you're watching the session, right? So those are the differences between the different session formats. Again, the submission guide will give you all of those details. So I think that, okay. All right, so there's a question that just came in, and then I'll pull some people up on stage if you'd like to ask your questions live. I work in a product space for a consultancy as a design lead, not a PM. Are you looking for product manager specifically? I think if you have any angle into the world of product management, you can have a very valuable talk. You can have something to say that will resonate with the women that are in the product management space, right? I think it's more important that you have something relevant, that's actionable and original, that will speak to the audience versus whatever your job title might be, right? If you have the experience in your life that will speak to the women that will be attending this product management conference, then I think we want to hear from you. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay.
Add to that real quick. In the past 2 years, I remember there were both conferences had sessions where I believe it was maybe engineering manager as well as UX designer who came and spoke around how they work best or how they collaborate with product teams in their company. And I thought that was really valuable, where again, looking at the format, you do have, for example, a fireside chat as an option. So that could be an opportunity where you engage with another PM and perhaps someone on your design team, and collaboratively you're able to speak about a topic on whether it be a fig jam, right, or some sort of brainstorming or some product design framework that you're able to impose together. And I think that would be a great way to really showcase from the different perspective of the different roles that involve how you can best collaborate together. That has worked really well in past conferences.
Okay, thank you. All right, I see quite a few here that are asking to share, and I don't know if you maybe hit that by accident or if you really did want to share. So I'm just going to begin to call people up on stage, and if you are called up and have nothing to say, feel free to remove yourself. You can just pull yourself off. So let's see. I'm trying to pull up a few here. Hello.
Hello, are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you just fine. Rushika?
Awesome. Yes, you got that right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for this session. I wanted to ask, I have a few different topics actually that I'm thinking for submission. So one idea that Lisa shared, that is great, right? Just go into women in product and create a poll. Any other ideas that you could suggest, like how can I narrow down on one topic and what would be valuable to the audience?
Ladies, would you like to address that question?
So Cyronne, just to clarify, can you clarify the rule about single versus multiple submissions before we answer this?
Single versus multiple submissions. I don't think I know the answer to that.
Okay.
I think I don't know if multiple submissions are allowed. I believe they would be.
Yeah. I know last year I submitted
Yeah.
3 different topics, of which
Yeah,
one was selected. Yeah, so that's definitely something, unless the rules have changed. We'll see if Malia, Ariana, or Rachel clarify in the chat. But assuming, oh yeah, so Rachel just said you may submit multiple submissions, but
Okay.
you will need to complete an application for each. Yeah, so I think if you have 3, 4 great ideas, feel free to submit multiple.
Got you. That's awesome. That's great to know. And then one more question, like, can you share, or do you know, like, where can I find the best presentations from the past? I'm not sure if the last year conference was virtual or was it in person. But if you could share, like, you know, the links to the best presentations that have taken place in the past, that might give some ideas on how we can structure our presentation and make it more engaging in a virtual environment.
So on the website, there is a link at the very top that says conferences. And if you drill down, you can see recaps for past conferences there. So that's one place. And you can also go to YouTube, where you will find past presentations for old conferences.
Got you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. All right. So let's pull up a couple more. We want to get to the Blender portion, so we're just going to take a couple more questions. Let's see. I'm just going to pull up everyone that's there. And again, if you want to take yourself out, you can do that. Okay. Ellen, hello.
Hi.
Hi. Did you have a question?
I didn't have a question. I can throw it. I mean, I have been like listing out some ideas that I might go by you. I was curious about the workshop format that's new this year. Would that be the best way to present something where I might like co-present with, like I was thinking about our product researcher who I work with a lot. And like in my company, product team is very responsible for doing your own research. And so sort of like strategies, if you're not a researcher, to like execute research to validate ideas or things like that. So I'm curious if the workshop format would be the best for that kind of like co-presentation, to walk through like tactics for doing product research, like lightweight product research to validate ideas and things like that. Or would that be, or can you do like co-presentations for like for your own, like one single presentation?
Yeah, so I'll give my answer, and then I'll take it back to Lisa and Lisa. But I think that workshop format would be good, even the fireside chat, or even the presentation, right? So I think if you go to the speaker submission guide and just really read through those session formats, it'll give you a really good idea as to which format will fit the topic and the content that you're thinking about, you know, how you're thinking about presenting it.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I'll read through that and see where it fits. Yeah, I don't know, fireside chats maybe, but yeah, I just think like we've just done such awesome I've just learned so much from working with the researcher, and I feel like it's such helpful, like a helpful muscle to have as a PM. And so that's why I was thinking that that might be a good angle.
Yeah, so I think a quick thing to consider would be how interactive is the content that you're looking to present, and given the amount of time, again, how much do you have to share, right? So the fireside chat is 30 minutes, and I think, again, it will probably be, it's not interactive, it will be pre-recorded, so you have more quote unquote control over the pace as well as how you present, including slide decks and everything else. And in the workshop, it's 45 minutes. So to capture everyone's attention, you definitely want to build in interactive, maybe small group breakouts, or just as if you do a Zoom meeting and you have breakout groups, right, to solve for a specific prompt. And because of that, breakout groups take time. So even though it's 45 minutes, you might only be able to share 2 or 3 techniques, including intro and conclusion. So that's one of the things I would think about is for any content you're sharing, how teachable is it? How much time would it require for it to sink in versus a very succinct type presentation where it's more one way pre-recorded.
Okay.
I would echo that, and I would say that I personally love doing workshops, and time flies much faster than you expect. So when I go into a workshop that is as short as 45 minutes, and 45 minutes is super, super, super short for, workshopping something with like a group of people, I would say focus on one key takeaway. I recently did a workshop with women in product about saying no, how to say no. And that, like, one little idea and different ways of saying no, like, took over an hour in an interactive workshop format. So I would say pick a really cool thing that you and your product researcher know how to do, and you can teach it by doing little prompts and having them complete little interactive actions. But it's very important that the audience is kind of participating, that they're creating their own experience in the workshop. So you probably want to like scope it down way to like a little principle that's very interesting and very compelling. You can workshop.
That's great. Okay, thank you so much. Super helpful.
Thanks so much. I think that we will take one more question and then we'll let you go to the Blender portion. Don't forget, in order to get into the Blender, you have to just click the little handshake icon that's on the left side of your screen that says Blender. You wait a second, you'll be put into a room with someone. You may be put into a room with someone you see here. And you can bounce ideas and ask other questions if you'd like. So Rashmi, did you have a question? Okay, let's pull up Ashley. Or Mimi, let's see. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any more live questions. No problem, Rashmi. All right, so we'll just go ahead and close out this portion. Please go into the Blenders and have a nice one-on-one with another woman that will be bringing her ideas. You can ask questions, bounce them off each other. I think the three of us are going to hang around for a while. We'll go into the Blenders as well. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for attending. I cannot wait to see all of your wonderful proposals, and I'm so excited about the conference. So thank you so much for your time today, and look forward to seeing you on the other side.
Thank you all. See you at the Blender.
Thank you. See you in the breakouts.